There we go. It's always something. Um, well, it was so wonderful to see several of you in person, and what a treat! Really, really an amazing time at Manuka outside of Portland, and highly recommend it if you're into great people and ukulele and community and music. Can't miss there. And there were many, many big hits at Manuka, but among them was Star of the County Down, which was really, really cool. I know. Yeah, really awesome performance for that, and we might, warm up with that one today as well. Um, and the plan for today is to, we'll start with Star of the County Down and then look at Hone Akavai again. And then we'll move on to the Slavonic Dance No. 2 by Dvorak. And that one has enough detail in it that I think that that's a one song to be taught in a lot of parts, and we'll take that all apart there. And awesome. Oh, and I will also mention, whoops, let's see. Three people in the waiting room. Here we go. There we go. Even more people that were there. Awesome. So there was a Ukestra component at Manuka, and people got fired up. And I think at this point, 7 new people have signed up for the summer from Manuka, which is really awesome. Yeah. And if you're in the one of the plans that could be renewable, not a year plan, you've got a day or so to sign up for the summer. And we'll look at another 5 tunes this summer. Same plan, and keep that going forward. All right. Well, with that said, let's get into Star of the County Down. And I know I have to tell people every once in a while it's not country down, it's county down, which is a county in Ireland. And Star of the County Down is a beautiful young woman. All right. And I've got this at 100. Let's hear how that sounds for us. Can you hear that okay? Is that a good volume? We good? All right, cool. Let's try it there. I'll go ahead and get my my warm up in. And it was really awesome because I didn't take part in the uh, Star of the County Down, which made it all the better, I thought. So the music has got some legs, and people pulled it off very well. And my good buddy Matt Weiner played bass. And as I know him, I'm sure he had some good pointers. And I would imagine they were about not speeding up the quarter notes at the beginning, which is just tricky to not go 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, versus 1, 2, 3, 1, to kind of anticipate and lean forward, but just to let the beat land and carry that forward. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and play the part I would have played with the group is Uke 3. Well, let's do a 3 count, and here we go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Kevin, did you happen to take a video of us playing that at Manuka? I know
I
you were
may
up in the
have.
balcony there.
I may have. I know.
Okay, well,
Um,
I assume you'll get it to us when you're able, if you do have it.
yeah. Yeah. I just got back.
No, I know you did.
Like
I'm
yeah.
just so glad to
But
see
yeah,
that
I
you
do
did,
have it.
given
Yeah,
everything.
and yeah, keep reminding me. I'll share that. Be a cool thing to play along with for
Great,
folks.
thanks.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it's such yeah, it went great at Manuka, and it was just cool to hear this in person and to have the the element of this that I really love is that you can find the part that's at your level, but then you can play that with other people, and the connection to the music, the connection to the beat, the connection to other people is just palpable in this kind of music. Um, awesome. How do we do? Is any no bleeding, no head wounds, nothing? Okay, good. Yeah. Um, how many folks were playing Uke One? Couple. All right. How about Uke Two? Couple. All right. Cool. Uke. Wait a minute. Is that a real background for Michelle? Are you? Is that a?
I wish. No,
Okay, that's
it's
going.
virtual.
Wow, that's great Wi-Fi there in the islands. How about Uke Three? Couple. Oh, excellent. We could take this on the road. How about Uke Four? All right. And I'm gonna guess Marianne and Jan might have been playing baritone. Oh, and Ronald. Nice. Excellent. Anybody playing bass? Look at that. Three people playing bass. This is, if we were all in this little room right now, we would have all the parts covered. That would have been awesome.
We would
Cool.
be really crowded if we were all in that little room.
Hey. It's well, there's more. There's more over here. I took out this wall. I did start my whole practice in this. It's like a baby room. But we would still be crowded. Yeah. I know. I'm trying to figure out how to get more people into my house. All right. But that's not what you're here for. Let's look at Hone Hakawai. Um, In this one, I want to look at this for just a second. I think I talked about this, and it's for Uke One especially. Um, I think it would also kind of apply to the baritone because that's also playing the melody. But the way it lays out on the uke, it's very much. A way to make this song, which is the sweet sound of water, um, to make this flow. Just want to kind of reiterate this little point here for the video. I'll go ahead and pin this for a second. Um, Finding ways to connect these notes. The reason I put the one on the E, first finger, and then the one there. So just having that real nice flow. No staccato, no. And it could have hammer-ons, which could be kind of, or slides, like a. So just to kind of break this down for a second, and I can't remember if I really went into this detail with it, but I'm just going to play every other note with my right hand that's on the same string. Anyway. And that's that phrase. That phrase repeats. I want to just keep this one going here for a second. There's a possibility here to play that, but it might be nicer to play that A flat, G sharp there on the 4th fret instead of the 8th fret here to get that effect. And I'm on measure 13. Uh, and that was just the one phrase there that didn't quite line up after I knew what this song was called. Just a way to connect that with more flow. Does that make sense? All right, cool. Yeah, just to kind of take the attack of the right hand away. Well, let's use this as our second warm-up tune, and here we go. Another one in 3 and another one at 100 beats. So 3 counts, and here it is. 1, 2, 3. I'll stop us there because I've got an agenda for today. There's so much small detail to the Slavonic dances. I want to get in that. But I just want to check in for just a second. Hold on. Here we go. All right. Are we growing at playing Hone Akavai? Has it gotten better for anybody? Yeah. And the same with Star of the County Down. Anybody have any thoughts on that? What's happening? How it's getting better? What that looks like? Where the growth is happening and how?
I have
Yeah.
trouble Star of the County. If I'm playing uke one, I'm in the 7th position, and on this one I'm in the 5th position on uke one, and I keep hitting the wrong things.
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
getting better at that. It's like if I have more room in between the things. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's a thing I think the more you do this, this is going to turn into, and Honeakavai is just, it is mostly, kind of the fifth position, but it's chromatic. So it's in the key of C, but it's got some outside notes. But like the Star of the County Down does, it's all in that A minor kind of thing. But over time, I think you're going to be able to look at a song, say, what key is this? And if it's, you 2 or 3 or 4, you're probably in the first position. And if it's you 1, you're probably in the 5th or 7th position where the melody's up there. And then you're going to see it and go, oh, in the key of G, I'm at the 7th position. Key of C, I could be at the 5th. And it just starts to connect in that way. And it just is a rude awakening. I've got some students now who are just getting into the 2nd position. And it's like so hard to be like, well, this finger knows G on the E string on the 3rd fret. And go, well, now this finger has like, so the familiarity, the more we can get up there, I think for me anyway, it feels like if I don't know what sound to expect, I'm like lost. And it just takes some time with that. A possibility to help connect that, and I've done this with all of my duets, 30 duets in that duet book on my Substack. I connected scales to each part so that you can kind of see what notes are in the part and what it's a subset of, because music usually works that way. All right, any other growth talk anybody wants to share? Well, I'm glad it's coming along. That's awesome. So we're going to look at Dvorak's Slavonic Dance, really cool music. I want to, kind of check the temperature in the room. How are folks doing with this one? Yeah, any questions before I go through each and every part? Okay. Well, I'm going to get in there, and I want to just take this song apart a little bit, and I will do a screen share. Oh, it's in the same place it was before I left. That's always good. Okay. And, oh, whoops. I always forget to hit the share sound button. I think the quality's a little better. Okay. So, there's a lot going on here. And I want to help you get into this piece just a little bit. Just listen for a second. So, which part is playing the melody? Anybody have any ideas?
We're
seeing your entire desktop, but we're not seeing the music.
Oh, that's not good. I need to clean my desktop, don't I? Let me see. Let me try this. Huh. There we go.
Yep.
Is that better? Yeah, okay. So, any ideas which part is the melody?
Is it uke 2?
Uke 2. It's very close to uke 2. But that's
Baritone?
That's a harmony.
Baritone seems like it is.
Baritone's also a harmony. This is good. and figuring this stuff out is very important. It's definitely not. I'm just gonna cut to the chase here. It's definitely not uke 1. We've already said it's not uke 2. It's not the baritone. I would not think it's the chords, so we're gonna exclude that. I don't think it's uke 5 or the bass. So I want to give you, by default here, uke 3 is the melody. And to hear that, and it just repeats there. Long form, we'll just jump to the second part here. Little chromaticism. And then the cool little ending. And so there's a fermata on the end here that we could hold, and then the tempo would probably go up 5 or 10 beats. So just getting in touch with that. Uke 2 is a harmony that is below and at times above. And when it's above, like here, it's called a descant harmony. And that's just a word for a higher harmony. This is like a Grateful Dead harmony. They would have these harmonies that were below, above, they were just like all over the place. So here's the main theme with these two parts. And then we get this cool little and uke 2 gets this G sharp at the end, which tells us it's an E7 chord and brings us to a close here on a tension note, which is beautiful, I think. Now uke 4 is the chords, and the baritone part doubles uke 2 an octave below. So you can see they're both on A there. It's sometimes it's below, sometimes it's the same part, kind of moving around just with that. So here it is with those parts now, and this rhythm on the chords, and I'll talk about it, but just to pay attention to this 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and this almost like a boom chuck in bluegrass or a mandolin or something. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and 2. So I will add bass and uke 5. Whoops. Everything has shifted on me here. Here we go. Come on. And now we've got this bottom end, which really anchors everything. Ridiculously simple bass line and not a bad thing. And just to hear how these pieces are fitting together. Now, lastly, we've got uke 1, and I'm going to shut down some of these other parts here for a second, because uke 1 is a very ornamental part that would be maybe not in every time. It might come in later, and it's got more 16th notes in it. And just I'll clear out some of the other sounds here so we can just hear the melody, the harmony, and then this part, this kind of just adding, I would just call it an ornamental effect. Pretty cool. And then you get this cool one measure in the B section. And it's a good one. All right. So just wanted to kind of take that apart a little bit, and as long as the melody's there, almost any two parts would work together on this, or three. So it's you don't need to have how many people? 7 people to play this. Let's start with the melody. And all right, here we go. Hold on, I'm gonna get these parts out of here. Okay, so just the melody. You could play this a couple ways. I might play it 2 ways. First with the thumb, then with the fingers. If I was playing it with the fingers, I would just be in kind of a classical position, resting my thumb on the 4th string. But I'm going to start with all thumb, and here it goes. I'll also say I might exaggerate that movement of the 1, 2, 1, 2 kind of feel with that. Just in my body, so I've got that groove. And I'll just remind folks that if you're capable of muting yourself, we will stay as a muted group for this. Okay, Here it is. You one thumb and then fingers. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. Let me get back here. I can't see the music for like a second there. To my ear, there's a huge difference in the sound of those two. And for me, you know, classical technique and classical music tends to go together pretty well, I think.
And
Brighter
can
sound.
I ask real quick, I can't quite see your right hand. Are you alternating I and M on that when you're
Yeah.
doing well, okay.
Um, yeah, pretty much. I'm not a let me get this down just a little bit lower. You know, I don't think it really matters. You could do it Lightning Hopkins style. And just using my thumb on the 4th string. Yeah. But when we get like more 16th notes, yeah. I'm not a classical player, so I just kind of am making it up as far as that goes. And let's look at this B section. Kind of fun. And so I want to just talk about a couple of little things that would be true for all of the parts, but the main thing here, I want to make sure I'm efficient with my left hand as far as I need to move a finger for every note there. But on measure 2, I can hold that D, play an E, and come back to it. So I don't want to play. I don't want to take my finger off and put it right back where it was, and that'll help the connection of the notes. Let me see where there's any others. Yeah, and so like on measure 12 and 4, you know, that, you know, it's kind of like you could, if not fret both the A and the B at the same time, you could certainly be close to them. So this is a great practice, just so I'm just lifting off instead of every note. And after a while, your hands will just figure that stuff out, and they'll turn in, be a habit. There's really nothing on the B section too much. It's, I guess, the same idea on measure 19 here. I just want to keep that finger on the D there. Any questions on the melody, the uke 3 part? Okay, well, let's get the harmony. And this one's really cool, I think, because it you get to play a low harmony and a high harmony and kind of feel how they affect the piece. Here we go. This is uke 2. 1, 2. I gotta get a better method of this someday. I'll play it 2 more times. Sorry. Start on A. Okay, I'll remember that. This is a real cool little thing where I have to shift up. A lot of movement in this 5th position, just showing you the fingerings before I get there, but that... an extra fret stretch for that pinky, and I would definitely want to keep that finger there just to kind of balance me. So playing this in real time. Nice little ending. So yeah, this little, there's a nice opportunity to pivot a little bit here. So sometimes I'll see people, I feel like, lock themselves into one position. And so I want to have some flow and some freedom to change. So here, I think it's real nice to be aware that the energy, like I talk about this as like tubularity, is going this way on this string. These top 2 strings, the energy has to go up. But then I'm immediately coming down. So I want, if I'm in one position for all of that, it's going to kind of cramp my hand. So I'll play it this way a couple times. So you can kind of see, even maybe from here. And what that looks like straight on. So something to just think about, and the reason this is round and not square is so we can kind of travel around this and use our center of gravity of the hand to help us fret. And then it's also the pivotability, something to think about. And this part, I think, lends itself to that really well. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw myself to the ukulele wolves and play Uke 1, unless there's any Uke 2 questions. Okay. And Uke 1 is all over the place. It's got a tricky line in it that I've didn't practice, so you're going to get to see me work on this in real time. But this first line, 1, I've tabbed this out with, it's kind of odd, but because the notes are so short, I thought it sounded better playing the C here than the open. So I'll just show you what I mean. So here's the tab. It's written 1. You could also substitute that 5th fret for an open C. Really slight difference, but I like this one better. So I'll talk you through this 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 1, and I would shift there to that 2nd fret. And then that same line, the next line ends there. Same thing. And same as the first line. And then we get the little bit of a knuckle buster, as Lyle Ritz would say. But here's the real tricky one. That one's a little trickier. And I'm barring there. And so I'm shifting between the B and the A there. And then ending with the staccato. So we'll see. I'm sure you'll see me stumble on this one, but the fun part here at the 7th position. Sorry, I'm trying to let someone in here. 2, 1. Really keeping in touch with the beat here while I'm waiting for my... And that one little measure, I'm just using thumb and first or second finger. 1. So just keeping that. Fun little part there. Any uke 1 questions? Okay. Yeah.
You said you barred on measure 14. Are you barring with your pinky?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Darn.
Yeah, isn't that a rude awakening? Yeah, because there's not enough time for me to move in a 16th note. So let's look at that. That's a really hard line coming from the pickup of into 12. So I'm barring there. I'm rolling to bar versus. So the skill here would maybe be practicing that and finding where your thumb needs to work, and kind of getting that strength here. If this knuckle isn't bent enough, good luck. So I am keeping that knuckle high, and I've just done it enough that I can kind of get in there, but it's slow motion that is that right? No, I guess it won't. Sorry. Yeah, and definitely the icing on the cake here. And I'll show you some possible ways that I would arrange this in a group. Even just with these parts, just the 3 ukes 1, 2, and 3. I might do something like this. So the first time is just the melody. And now the harmony comes in to enrich that a little bit. And then maybe bringing in uke 1, a whole other, almost contrapuntal kind of thing. Maybe I'll bring in the bass here. Uke 4. And now now uke 2 and the baritones. So now we've got the whole family, and it's built. You know, there could be a lot of ways to do that. But you know, I tend to make an arrangement like this that just has the sections. You could play it as many times as you wanted, but every once in a while a group will just play exactly all the parts all the time, and it's, you know, a reductive, subtractive act on this can go a long way. Any other questions on uke 1, 2, or 3, or comments, or hallucinations are welcome too. Okay, excellent. Then let's go to uke 4, and I will keep. What will I keep? I'll keep 1, 2, and 3 in the sonic sphere. And this one, again, I would look at as purely classical technique. I wouldn't want to. You could, but because it has that little one boom chuck in it on measure 3, I think that would be a little better. So I'll play it in that way. Hold on. All right. 1, 2. So this, and even getting this pattern, I might even just clap this out just to make sure I'm aware of how this part works. So I've got this 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, 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 1 and 2. 2 and 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So just kind of having a sense of how that feels in the right hand, and also not playing all of the strings all the time, so that it's heavier on beat 2. And that's where this music would probably lie. And so just noticing that 1 and, so that's really, that second note's the 16th note. So I've got 1 and 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So that's the reason I want to play classical technique here, so that I can stop that, versus it's just going to sound sloppy, I think. If it's, versus and it's great practice just kind of controlling the strings that way. A micro movement within that, and I see this a lot, it is, so it's on like 1 and 2, 1 and 2. That second note's the 16th note, so really the movement here is like 1 and 2, I want to make sure that that second note is twice as fast as the first one, or it's half as long. So I have to move my hand quicker. But sometimes I'll hear people go, they're playing them both the same. So that if I was here making the sounds, probably can't see that or even really hear it, but the short note and a mute. All right, and then yeah, this B section it's actually really fun with the staccato notes, but bum. And then I noticed I was using both hands to mute, just to make that really staccato. And so the staccato, to me, represents half of the value of that note. So if it's a staccato eighth note, it's a 16th note and a 16th note rest. So that's why I want to give that. And so I'm touching the string, and sometimes it takes a while for people to not, fret the note, to just get the touch. And this is great practice. And so in the context of this, and some of this stuff, it's so hard to see on a uke because it's so small, like what's really happening. And then we're kind of back to our old tricks there. So this is really, really good practice for the skill of muting. Any uke 4 questions? All right, so if you were wanting to, bring in newcomers or children into this syndicate of ukulele music, uke 5 would be the place to start them. And I'll just play this real quick. And here it goes. Oops, let me get the sound in there. Okay, there it is.
Kevin,
Yeah.
I would really appreciate it if you'd slow everything down just a little bit.
Okay. You mean the tempo of the song?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Well, this is the slowest part of the song, but okay. It's all quarter
Okay,
notes.
well, maybe not this part, but
Okay. Yeah, I think we've gotten through all the tricky ones. See if this works for you. I can do it at multiple tempos. kind of the lowest common denominator of everything. Well, let me go ahead and knock it down to, we were at 70. This is 60. I would probably just almost all second finger, you know, or open strings, have that little mute thing. Not mute, bar, sorry. Yeah. So here it is at 60. And it's even less going on the B section. There's just two chords, G and C. Definitely a great entry point, and I'll say this too. Sometimes it's, I think sometimes it's an adult thing, but sometimes it's a personality type thing, where people want to play the hardest part they can. Sometimes I think a lot of traditional music, whether it be, you know, mountain music, blues, folk, country, or Slavonic dance music. A lot of times people would learn this music at a very young age by playing the most rudimentary, simple part, but hearing all the other parts. And so that when they're ready to take the next step, they kind of already know that part. So there's something like, really, this is the simplest part we've had, you know, the most difficult song this semester, and it contains the simplest part of the semester. And yeah, I'm just a big fan of that, and even holding on to that part while you're, you know, aspiring toward uke 1 or uke 2 or 3, the melody, whatever, and maybe just get used to pairing those up. And in Sound Slice, that's easily done. All right, so is that tempo better?
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just always let me know. I'm happy to work with you. All right, now I got the big guns here. For my people in Portland, they like their ukes low and mighty there. And this part is this often the case, and I notice in my arrangements anyway, that especially with like Celtic music and stuff, it's like on a tenor uke or, you know, GCEA tuning, like Celtic music is so hard, and it's going to be like in the second position and then suddenly in the ninth position, going back and forth, and then you do that part an octave lower, and it's all just like right here on the baritone. So this one lays out really nicely, and I'll just walk you through it. It's 60, and this is the harmony that is doubling uke 2. vibrato to that. All in the first position. On that B section, nice practice going from the fourth string to the first string. And just ending on a C chord there. Bum, bum, bum. Excellent. Any questions on the baritone part? All right, it's got a lot of open strings and, you know, right there in the first position. Okay, my bass peeps, here we go. This is my kind of bass part. I think I can play this one. You know, I don't want to get overconfident here, but we haven't heard the bass in a while on this tune, so just notice how this anchors everything. All right, and yeah, well, let's play this thing. 1, 2. This is just keeping that pulse. Now a little more alternating bass gives it a cool feel. And off it goes. With that, I noticed if I'm playing a faster kind of thing, I might use my fingers, but I got a little bit of fingernails, which is no good on the bass. But tone-wise, there's not a lot of thumb players on bass, but to me, that tone is hard to beat. It's just a bigger way of contacting the string there. Any questions on the bass? No, okay. Let me turn this off real quick. Let's put all of these parts together. Pick your poison on this one, and let's play this. Here it is, everything in at 60. Let's try it there. And this is definitely a tune that 60 as a tempo to start could be interesting. And every time that fermata, that like dun, bum, dun, 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 could get faster every time. And yeah, let's play it. I'll play the melody just to help keep us on track. All right, and here we are at 60, and here we go. 1, 2. Let me count in time. 1, 2, 1, 2. And on it could go. There's a lot of possibilities with that one, and just wanted to kind of take it apart, put it together for you all. And let me hit this button real quick. Any parting words, questions, statements, declarations, other than your own genius? Faye, do you have a question there? Could you unmute? I went ahead and muted you in the session.
Okay, got
There it
me.
is.
I'm trying to decide, or how do you decide? Sometimes you're wanting a sustain of an interval, and you want the notes maybe to ring into each other into the next note. And sometimes you don't want that because there's, the dissonance. And how does one learn that?
Yeah, so this is a thing that I think is very ukulele specific. And it's more important to me to connect the notes. Now, if this was a cello class, we'd play the notes as written. I believe the sustain is so short as it is to connect the sounds. I just go as legato as possible unless the music says there's a rest or staccato.
Okay.
On uke now, and because it's not gonna get in the way of anything, and especially people that are playing like a soprano, like an entry level soprano. Oh my, I don't have one around, but everything sounds so plinky. So that to learn to get that, so even right there, that's not what's written exactly. It depends on what tempo a little bit, but I am a person, especially then in a solo piece,
Yeah.
Everything can kind of melt a little bit, a little more buttery. Yeah, that's a great question, though. Do you play, or have you played other instruments?
Well, yes, I'm a pipe organist, and of course, the articulation there is very,
Yeah.
strict about stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
and you
this is
have
the
to.
opposite of that. Yeah, does that
Yeah.
make sense? Yeah, we can get away with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
cool. Yeah, you're welcome. Great question. Well, folks, going once, going twice. I haven't gone to auctioneer school yet. I got to get to that. All right. I will see you in a month, and we're going to play all 5 of these pieces. So that's kind of the plan for things. I would also make some time for certainly any questions, but also any playing that people would like to do. This will be our open mic, our recital, as well as playing together. So think about that. It can be a great way to grow. And also, I've heard from a few folks that are in the first chair or the symphonic plan about scheduling lessons. I sent a few things out. There's a few more of you. If you want to get in on that, let me know while I got spaces available. And I'll see you on the ice. So long.
Thanks,
a bunch.
Kevin, as always.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Likewise, thank you.